Hello, I'm Lothika Pai, Chief Small Business Officer for the City of Chicago. And for today's episode of Behind the Business License, we are in Uptown. Situated roughly 6 miles north of the Loop, Uptown has been a cornerstone of Chicago's entertainment scene for over 100 years. Iconic locations such as the Aragon Ballroom, the Riviera Theatre, and the Green Mill coexist alongside a vibrant selection of global cuisine. The Uptown neighborhood has an enviable stretch of coastline, complete with a beautiful beach and a bird sanctuary, and its restaurants and shops reflect a rich tapestry of cultures from around the world. Joining me today from this vibrant neighborhood is Chef Virgil Roundtree, owner of Downstate Donuts, and Sarah Wilson, Executive Director of Uptown United. Thank you for joining us today. Virgil, please tell us a little bit about your journey to starting Downstate Donuts in 2019.
Definitely. Well, I started Downstate Donuts after a trip to Portland, Maine, where I had my first potato donut. Not a donut eater, and upon first bite, I just thought it was one of the best things I'd ever had. And so, upon returning to Chicago from that trip, I tried to find anyone who would possibly make a potato donut. Didn't exist. No one knew it even existed in the world, actually. So because I have a culinary background, I started tinkering in my kitchen with some recipes and came up with something that I thought was pretty solid, really good, and decided, let's just take it to Donutfest, which is the annual donut competition that happens in Chicago in January. And we launched our first business, I launched Downstate Donuts right after that competition.
So, did you start immediately in the retail space? What did you do when you launched it?
The retail piece came much later. We started off with farmers markets. Then that led to, during COVID, our trikes, which we launched to sort of get out into the neighborhoods and meet people where they were. And it was great for us, of course, because it gave us access to our customers direct. And they were looking for something fun and different also, of course, during that time. So that was pretty awesome, actually. But the retail piece didn't come until about 3 years in, when we realized it was time to start expanding and to get our own place. And so the search began, basically, at that point.
And I was one of those neighbors. I walked by during COVID with my daughter and our dog and saw the trike in front of the residential buildings and was, oh my gosh, this is amazing. What is this? So the familiarity was already there because of that physical presence with the trike, because it's such a unique concept. You don't always see that. So Downstate was always on my radar before we were formally introduced.
Yeah, I love the innovative approach to doing a trike and exploring the demand for the product in the community. So why Uptown?
Uptown is, it's a unique neighborhood. It's quite eclectic. You have all these different ethnicities and backgrounds, established residents that have been here. You have recent college grads, so it's quite diverse, of course, beyond just ethnicities. The age range is pretty amazing. And it's kind of the center for arts and culture on the north side, honestly. Between all of the restaurants and the music venues, you get this interesting rotation of people that come through all the time from all over the city and all over the Midwest that get to visit this little hub of Chicago on the north side. So for a creative like myself, it's definitely just an awesome launching pad, obviously, of course, for us.
That's great. I cannot wait to try out your honey glazed miso donuts. So very excited for that. Sarah, you have worked for the City of Chicago previously, and you have a very unique perspective when it comes to economic development, and now you're with Uptown United, which is one of our neighborhood business development centers. So it's the city's boots on the ground, working with small businesses in your community. So what kinds of resources do you offer to businesses like Virgil's as they're looking to start to grow and to scale?
Absolutely. I think one of the things we pride ourselves on is our customer service and the one-on-one technical assistance. So what makes us so unique is that, one, we have folks that speak multiple languages. Virgil touched on this. We have dozens of languages that are spoken here in Uptown. So the ability to reach the business owner in their language is of utmost importance because it breaks down the fear and the scariness of running a business and any form of government, right? Like you build a level of trust. And so we're able to provide people with the tailored support they need to help them with their business plans, get them financial ready for lending opportunities. Or candidly, if we can't help them, we have the network within our other MBDC partners or our financial institutional partners to connect the businesses with resources that we trust and refer them to folks who we know are going to be able to help them work through whatever the roadblock is. Plus, we're also a special service area provider, so we're also able to leverage them, the opportunity with grants and rebate opportunities that our SSA provides, special event connections, things of that nature that really help broaden the exposure if they're looking to test the market or they're looking to expand their operations here in Uptown.
Community plays such a big role in small business growth, in development, and actually making businesses flourish as well. So when you look at businesses like Virgil's and other businesses in your commercial corridor, what are the few challenges that you see they're facing right now?
The biggest that we're seeing for folks that are looking to either get out of their home and into a storefront or take the trike from the farmer's market into a storefront are rising commercial rents. The cost of commercial real estate is on the rise for a variety of reasons, including property taxes, utilities, cost of new construction. And that gets passed down to someone, and it usually ends up being the tenant. So the ability for a small business owner or a micro business owner to be able to afford the rent is a huge barrier. They're also at a point where they may not be capitalized to access that loan that they need in order to cover the cost of rent or to do the build out that's needed. I mean, this is a beautiful space, but Virgil can touch on the challenges that it costs to make something that's raw into something that's beautiful and unique to the identity of the brand. Not everyone is capitalized to do that. So commercial rents are definitely a challenge. The ability to access capital remains a challenge. And then I would just say broader visibility. One of the things we try to get across to small businesses is you need to have a social media or internet presence. Everybody's on their phone these days. They're Googling, they're Instagramming, TikToking. And if you don't have some sort of media presence, you're not going to be found. So it's communicating and helping those businesses get at least some type of presence. But businesses are just running their business. They don't have the capacity. Like Virgil's a one-man show when it comes to many things, that we could help them craft that calendar for content or connect them to an entrepreneur who does social media for small businesses and make that referral. But it's just hard running a business right now. There's so many rising costs that they have to deal with salary, with taxes, with all the different things. It's just really, really tricky. And many businesses are just themselves.
Yeah, no, and I couldn't agree with you more, because small business owners, in addition to the challenges of just starting a business, they need to know how to connect the dots. Like, how do you get a license? What are the compliance requirements for a permit? If you're looking for a grant, like what is the paperwork that's required to apply for a grant? And that's where some of the NBDC's no-cost services that you provide to businesses are really helpful.
Exactly. It's one of the things that we stress to folks is we can help break down what all of this means. The legalese in applications can even go over our heads. And so the ability to sit down with a business owner and say, this is what this means, this is what you need to have, is one of the best things that we can provide for our small businesses, because it really helps take the fear out and the scariness of going through the process when you know that you have somebody that is on your side, that will be with you every step of the way. If you run into a challenge with your licensing or your permitting or something new comes up, you know you have an organization like Uptown United or the Chamber you could call immediately, and we will be there to help you at no cost, because we're not here for the money. We do it because of community. And so that's one of the things we really pride ourselves on, is that we are so committed to providing the customer service, because when you thrive as a small business owner, we as a community thrive.
Yes. And yes, when you think of small business owners, we know they face challenges. And I think the past 1 year for you has been particularly unique in terms of challenges, and especially the past couple of months. So can you share with us some of the challenges that you've recently faced and how you are looking to overcome them as a small business owner?
Sure. So the initial challenge I had was opening the shop was budgeting. Obviously I had only limited capital I could play with, of course, to get the shop off the ground. So you're trying to figure out whether or not you should paint this wall or build this out or buy this piece of equipment, and how much do you save, for payroll. So it was quite stressful early on, of course, trying to manage it all and not, zero out the account, of course, before we opened the doors. But we very strategic about how I, allocate certain things. So we've made it far enough, obviously, about a year into it now, of course, which is great. But as of recent, our wholesale closure actually is what really impacted us. When you diversify your business, luckily I've done so to where we weren't so exposed, but the wholesale piece was still important to, our bottom line, our payroll, of course. And we lost definitely a lot of money on, our invoices that will never get, fulfilled, of course. So that, and then the projections going forward also have changed drastically, of course, as well. So it's tough because it's unexpected. I never saw that coming. Many of us were just kind of blindsided by the whole, event. And now I have to pivot pretty quickly to try and figure out a way to fill that hole. And in many cases, it's trying to figure out a way to tap into the community or find new outlets, expand on the retail, maybe invest more in the online sales. Luckily, our farmers markets are coming back at this time, so that's definitely going to save us to some degree. But it is terrifying in those moments because you pause and think, what else could go wrong? What other aspect or what other revenue stream is going to collapse on me tomorrow? So, and it also gives you a little bit of anxiety about approaching wholesale again, of course. So for the time being, we're not jumping back into it initially, but moments like that really show you how exposed you are. And you hold your breath half the time, hoping that not another anvil is coming, is going to drop on your head, of course. So that was pretty tough, yeah.
But I do commend you for your multi-channel approach that, yes, you have wholesale, but it's not 100% of how you sell your products. You have retail, e-commerce presence, you're in the farmer's market. So just having that omni-channel approach, has served you well. And I think there are ways that NBDCs can help small businesses mitigate risks where you're just putting all your eggs in one basket. And if that basket falls down, it's that much more harder for the small business owner to come out of it. So really commend you for thinking through and actually ensuring that your business is sustainable in the long run.
Yeah, luckily, we have that omni-channel approach. At least my vision for the business was always that, because it's kind of a natural growth also. We started off in farmers markets, and then the trucks came about with COVID, just in an effort to bring in new revenue and also reach our customers. And then online happened also at the same time because people are at home and not everyone can travel across the city, and I can't get to them also. Wholesale was a piece of that, so it's just kind of a natural growth step process, and you also realize you need to do so to survive as well, because at any point one collapses, it's over. So yeah.
The evolution is something we try to remind businesses of in whatever stage of growth that they're in, is that there will always be ebbs and flows, and you always need to revisit your business model, because how you started your business may not be sustainable moving forward, especially as our whole ecosystem changes and people's shopping patterns change. And so it's one of the things we really pride ourselves on, and I think all of our other MBDCs do well, is providing the one-on-one workshops and staying on top of the trends so that businesses know, I should maybe rethink about it this way, or here's how I can create more efficiencies in this way, or maybe it is time for me to look for that storefront. Go to your MBDC. We were able to help connect Virgil with options for a potential storefront, and let's help you negotiate or give you the tips to negotiate on reducing your rent costs, things of that nature. So that's one of the MBDC value props, if you will, is that we can help a business in any step of the way by staying on top of what the ecosystem is looking like.
just staying on top of trends. Yeah, I think that's so important. So, Sarah, this is such a vibrant community. You have so many small businesses in Uptown, so many second generation, third generation businesses. How do you, as the executive director of Uptown United, stay connected with the small business owners? How do you build that community?
So I'm also the executive director of the chamber, which is 101 years old. And the reason why we're 101 years old is because of our service and our commitment to the businesses. We go door to door to let folks know about grant opportunities. We go to door to let them know about rebates or events or things that networking opportunities. And it's by having that face-to-face interaction that you build the trust with the business owner to let them know you can always count on us. And then they talk to folks. Oh, so-and-so, Sarah helped me, or John helped me, or Greg or Justin, your team helped me. It didn't cost me anything. You should go talk to them. I think also having a physical storefront has really helped our visibility. We used to be located on upper floor of the Bridgeview Bank building and then moved into a ground floor. Now people can just easily walk right in. And we can help them with whatever their needs are. And I think it's the fact that we're accessible, that we are there with no judgment. We are there to help you get from A to Z. And if we can't be that main connector, we'll refer you to who you are. And I think people have seen the value of that, which is why we've been able to be in the neighborhood for over 30 years as Uptown United in the Economic Development Organization, and then 101 years for the Chamber. It just really is about building community, and you build community and trust with one-on-one interactions.
And Uptown United is also a CBC, so
Correct.
you're also a Chicago Business
Yes.
Center. So what kind of help do you provide to businesses looking to get a business license?
So the Chicago Business Center's geography is significantly larger than Uptown. Uptown's one of the largest community areas, but the CBC covers pretty much the entire north side. And it's a real opportunity for our partner NBDCs across the north side to offload things if they have a question or they can't sit on the phone with the city to try and get an answer. Our CBC can help do that. It's also an area for alderpersons who don't have chambers of commerce or MBDCs to refer businesses to. There's been a huge uptick in areas where there isn't an existing organization like Uptown United or the Chamber, that businesses have been able to get the assistance that they need. And so it goes everywhere from business planning to licensing and permitting to we're gonna celebrate you with your ribbon cutting and make the connection with the alder offices.
That is such invaluable work. I mean, businesses need a lot of hand-holding
Yes.
as they're going through the licensing, permitting process.
It's not fast.
It's not fast,
It's
and
not
there's
fast.
documentation. Like to be compliant with the city, you do need to have your documentation in place. So it's nice that organizations like yours are there to help small business owners through that process. Thank you.
Oh, we love it. And it's the joy that we get is seeing a business owner's dream become the reality, and let us take the burden off of some of the frustrations, because there will inevitably be frustrations as you're trying to get that inevitable business license, but allow us to be a partner with that and take some of that off of you. And for us, we're really pleased that we're able to provide support to areas that just don't have them.
Virgil, just to wrap this up, one final question for both of you. What does having a City of Chicago business license mean to you?
Well, for me, it was the chance to pursue a dream, to pursue a new occupation, being an entrepreneur, right? But more importantly, to put conversations that I was having with friends and family into action, and really pursuing an opportunity to build something of value that gives back to the community, not only to myself, to the community, and it's impactful, and I get to have fun every day while doing it. It's pretty awesome. So for me, it really gives you a license to go out and be creative and build something and do something, authentic to yourself that you give back to the world in some fashion. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Sarah, what does helping an individual, a small business owner, get a City of Chicago license mean to Chicago's communities?
It's building the community. It's an idea that can now be shared with everyone. And the vibrancy of a community is are all of our small business owners. It's the food business, it's the service business, it's the nonprofit organizations. It's all of these folks coming together that really make each neighborhood unique. And so for us as an MBDC to help a business or a nonprofit get their business license, we're just adding to the vibrancy of the neighborhood. And for us as an organization, that's at the core of our mission, is to help the neighborhood thrive and the businesses within our neighborhood thrive, to keep Uptown unique and eclectic and be all the things that people love and appreciate. It's really about building the community.
Thank you both so much for joining us here today for Behind the Business License. We really appreciate your time and you sharing your insights and your experiences with us. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.